Some people will do anything for YouTube video content. I went to a dentist in March, had a crown and the filling replaced. There was constant discomfort from the second the crown was added. The dentist was he had exhibited abnormal behavior. He was yelling at employees and doing other things, and it was everything combined led to an unusual and unpleasant experience. And like I said, there was always a discomfort. After 2 months, I went back, and he did an x-ray and said it was most likely because I had a wisdom teeth that was close. He didn't explain the mechanism or science behind why that would be the cause, but it never left my mind that there was an issue due to his behavior. The discomfort over time actually became less, but I didn't know why it was there. I reached out to another dentist I had never been to, who seems to be a very nice person and a good dentist. And she recommended, after looking at me, I go to a specialist that uses lasers because she said my lower wisdom teeth, which had never been removed, because when I was young, when you normally remove them, they remove the top ones, but the bottom ones were too close to the nerve, and it was dangerous, perhaps leading to permanent numbness, paresthesia. I went to the dentist she recommended, and he was wonderful, very nice office, excellent person, but he felt that he could not alleviate my wisdom teeth problems because they were getting infected. One of them looked like as if they were having a cavity. And I was concerned because even though they were not painful, I had no idea I had an infection, which can lead to heart damage and Alzheimer's and many different things. And they recommended, because it was possible it would damage my other teeth, and in their experience and wisdom and training and education, thought it was a good idea. I'm the type of person that doesn't like to take drastic measures and always tries to find a way out. When I had my AFib, I tried 17 different ways before finally having my cardiac ablation, which worked so far, knock on wood. So they sent me to a oral surgeon who is a dentist, but is at the same time someone who has skills to a very high degree and training and education, and I'm really surprised that dental surgeons are able to do the things they're able to do in such tiny little spaces inside your mouth, next to nerves and so on. So I made an appointment after Thanksgiving. And then the day before Thanksgiving, I was out driving my car, the old 29-year-old Toyota Corolla, the Moon Rover. Some of you may be familiar. I have made my car and its problems a video many times. And as I was leaving a thrift store, I got hit by a person. I was in the left lane. They had been on the right lane and merged and hit me from behind and totaled my car. Because it was old, I only had I had no comprehensive for collision, so they didn't pay me anything. I tried to file a claim with the lady's insurance company, which was amazing that she had insurance. So many people in South Florida do not have insurance of any kind. And they said that she was in the left lane, and they were denying my claim, but she hit me from behind in the passenger side with the front of her car. And I was in the left lane and she was behind me, so I don't understand how I could have been in the left lane, hit her with the side of my car. I did make a turn, but I stayed in my left lane as I was going. And she made a turn and went from her right lane into the left lane. So that's puzzling. But my point is, having the accident helped me keep my mind off of having the root canal. The first one, I have to have another one. The dentist said it's very likely, from the position of the nerve, that there isn't much choice, and I will end up having permanent nerve damage. I shouldn't have difficulty speaking, and I shouldn't be biting my tongue or have a loss of taste sensation, but I should have permanent damage in my jaw and my cheek and maybe part of my lip, and I'm not sure what's going to happen when I have the other one. The last 3 weeks have been difficult thinking about this. It's difficult to have a procedure when you're not feeling any pain. But the fact that I wasn't having pain and getting infection and pus was a little scary. And I think I did the right thing. The dentist, the oral surgeon, has an excellent education and years of experience and good recommendations and decent reviews. I say decent reviews because he has many good reviews, and he has one review where a patient was angry and called the dentist many names, and they left the review up, so I have to assume if there were other bad reviews, they also would have been left up. A funny story is 6 years ago, I had a dentist tell me that my teeth were in better shape than his. He was very happy. Of course, I had to stop seeing him because I found out he was having mental issues. I'm trying to smile. You want to stay away from crazy dentists, but the really good ones are worth their weight in gold. Maybe I should tell you the story of that dentist. I had a filling come out or something and went to see him, and he had me come back over a period of 10 days, do one part of my mouth with the old fillings and repair them, and then come back in 10 days. as he was working on my teeth the first time, I had stuff in my mouth where I really couldn't talk. And he was complaining to me bitterly, angrily, about his treatment from wherever it was living in his house. He kept saying that he was not a rug, people should not walk all over him. And very, very upset. I thought it was kind of bizarre behavior. I'm not a bartender. I didn't come to have people tell me these things, and I thought it was taking away from his focus on me. I came back in 10 days. I'm in the chair. Stuff is in my mouth. I can't talk. He's telling me to open my lips and inject a Novocaine or some sort of anesthetic. He says, open, close, open, close, open, close. Each time I open, he jabs me. As he's doing this, he's telling me the exact same story he told me 10 days ago. He's not a rug or carpet. He's tired of people treating him like this. Finally, he says, open and close, and then he jabs the needle into me instead of when it was supposed to be open. And now my lip is full of Novocaine. It took days for it to change till I could feel anything. When he finished, we went into another room and he did an x-ray and said we were all done. And I told him, I said, are you sure we're all done? He said, yes. You just have to come back in a few months and we'll do these other things. That's going to cost thousands of dollars. So, okay. And I said, listen, I said, I think you have a problem. It's affecting your work. If there's people at home treating you, your relatives, your family, you need to communicate with them. Your family loves you, cares for you, and this is hurting your work. You know, you need to get this straightened out. And he said to me, these aren't my family. These are relatives. These are our relatives. These are friends of his wives or friends of his he knew from college that are staying at his house. From up north, they're visitors. And they're causing him all this grief so much that he's been telling this to me over this period of 10 days. It's been in his mind. It's ruining his way to work. It's like terrible. So I stopped seeing him. He charged me for something he was going to give me for free after I told him I wasn't coming back. I hope he got his problem solved. I had another dentist. Was a surgeon I was sent to do, I think, a root canal of this tooth years and years ago. Big man, older gentleman, looked like a drinker. He lay a tray of instruments next to me and left the room, did not come back for 10 minutes, so I got bored. And I looked at the speculum, the little device that has a mirror on it. It had been in the autoclave so many times it was difficult to see. It was corroded. When he came back in the room, I just made a comment that it might be difficult for him to see with the speculum, with the mirror. He became, well, not violent, but close. He became very angry. He accused me of claiming that his instruments were dirty. I thought later if I had thought they were dirty, I would have walked out. He yelled at me, and repeatedly, like I was someone who owed him money or ran over his dog with my car. When I went back to my dentist, I said, I'm not going back to him for the rest of the procedure. I told him my treatment, and the dentist, who was a nice man, he was actually a good dentist, but he could never look you in the eye. He would always look off to the side when he talked to you. But that was his only flaw. Nobody's perfect. I thought he was a good dentist. Very sweet, gentle man. He told me if I didn't go back to that dentist, I'd have to go to another one. And they'd start over from the beginning and cost me a lot of money, so I didn't want to go. I finally agreed to go back to finish the procedure. I'm in my car on Biscayne Boulevard, close to 163rd Street, and a policewoman stopped me. An African-American policewoman. I left Biscayne Boulevard off to a side road, and she pulled behind me, and I got out of my car, and she started screaming at me. I thought she was going to shoot me. I got back in my car. Apparently, I had forgotten to put the little tag for when you get registered and you get renewed. They give you a little tag to put on your main tag. And she came to the car, and she was extremely nasty to me. And finally, she wrote up the ticket, went back to her car, and gave it to me, and went back to her car. And I went to leave, and my car wouldn't start. So I'm sitting there waiting for her to leave. Finally, I get out of my car and go back and told her that the reason I wasn't leaving wasn't because I was waiting on her. It was because I couldn't get my car to start on the way to having a root canal done. It was the first time I saw her smile. Eventually I got the car started and somehow made it to the dentist on time. He didn't apologize for his previous behavior, but I could tell he was a little bit disappointed. I had one other dentist, my very first dentist. He had a room full of fish, taxidermy. He was giving me my first filling. That day in a newspaper, an article had come out how they thought mercury amalgam fillings were bad for you. I thought that's what he was putting in my mouth. The room filled up with other dental assistants and dentists. I guess there was no work that day, and they were all talking to each other about how the article was stupid. Then they started asking me questions, but I couldn't answer because I had stuff in my mouth, which irritated me. Finally, when he was done, I asked him how come none of his fish that were on the wall had teeth in them. He didn't like that question. It's good to have a good dentist. So there's not going to be any more videos on the Moon Rover. We'll have to see what happens with the mouth. One thing that kept me a little less nervous about having the dental surgery was the thought of my ancestors and all the things that they had to put up with to survive. my ancestors aren't any different than yours. Every one of us is from a long line of survivors. Something wonderful is going to happen. I'm smiling. You just can't see it. Better days ahead.